Hello. So, 4 days ago, as of recording, I put out a community post asking you guys to ask me questions about whatever you want, really. I didn't have any standards or anything to follow up on. Uh, because, well, honestly, we just need a break from the main series videos. Probably next week it'll go back and we'll finally finish up that 10K special, but we have just exerted ourselves too much. And, I thought this would be a good video because I've been streaming a lot and I've gotten a lot of questions, and I thought maybe other people that didn't tune into the streams might also have questions. So I'm going to take a look at a few of those. Scorpion Games asked, "What are your PC specs? When did I start TF2, and what made you want to be a YouTuber?" As for the specs, I guess the two most people are curious about are the graphics card and the processor. The graphics card is a GTX 1660, and the processor is an AMD Ryzen 1700X 8 core. I've got a bunch of SSDs and a bunch of regular hard drives, all just dedicated to different things like video storage. There's 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I think it's like an 800-watt power supply powering it all. So it's nothing too crazy, but I'll probably throw up a photo right here. I started in 2012, the year after it went free to play, because a friend asked me to play it with him because it went free to play, and he wanted to play it, and I tried it, and I liked it, and I just kept playing it. As for what made me want to be a YouTuber, we'll save that for a different question, because I got a similar question that I think will provide a better answer. What class do you hate playing, and what class do you hate playing against the most? Pyro, for both of them. I hate Pyro. It's not that I think Pyro's an infuriating class to play because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and no matter how much I play him, I never feel like I'm getting any better. So I've just completely stopped trying at this point. Um, and now I kind of dread having to go back and make a new Pyro video. So, what are your favorite cosmetics, and have you ever tried TF2 wear? Uh, I like the bread crab, and I like the delinquent's down vest. Uh, because the bread crab is a nod to Half Life. I really like Half Life, and no, I've never tried TF2 wear. I had to look it up. It looks like WarioWare. I've played WarioWare maybe once when I was a kid, but I've never done TF2 wear. What classes do you main? What are your favorite games aside from TF2? And are you having a good day? I am having a good day. I main engineer, and my favorite games aside from TF2 are, off the top of my head, the Fallout series, the Borderlands series, Doom, and Half Life. I like all of those. Um, I really like first person shooters, just because they're so simple to wrap your head around and understand and play that I have a hard time not enjoying them. What is your top five weapons? I don't know. I like the Force of Nature. I like the Soda Popper. I really like the Frontier Justice, the Rescue Ranger, and probably the Tommy Slav these days. I know four of those are for the same two classes, but Scout and Engineer are probably my two most played classes. They're easier to understand and play for me. Engineer's a good, like, sit back, relax, just build a building and let it do the work, and Scout's very akin to like Half-Life and Doom, where you're just running around and most of your gameplay is gonna come from your aim and not so much strategy, if you know what I mean. Nomer Boy asked, "What class do you main, and would you do gameplay videos?" Uh, I've already, as I said, engineer, and I have already done gameplay videos. They don't do very well. I don't know if they get recommended to people because they're not the main series or whatnot, but I've done recording sessions. I've done a couple footage reviews that are unlisted now. I mean, I'm planning on doing more of those. I think they're really interesting because when we do the recording sessions, we get a lot of just random clips that never get used or done anything for. One of my favorite ones is the Piss King. And if you don't know what the Piss King is, it's because you've never seen it. But the Piss King was a guy who was the server was just colloquially referring to him as the Piss King, and and I said like they were all like groveling at his feet. The team was, and I said something like "Piss King," more like "Poo King," and then the server kicked me for disrespecting the Piss King. We got it on record, but we don't have any of the audio for it. It's really unfortunate. Maj Max asks, how did I get the idea to make the How Bad Could It Be series? The series was initially designed to cover bad weapons, but then I was like, well, that's not good for a long term. So like, the name already kind of worked as a like, how bad is this thing? Is it bad or is it not bad? And a lot of people will click on the videos just to see why I think this good weapon is bad and leave pleased that I don't think the good weapon is bad. I think it's actually really good anyway. And I got the idea because during Gunmetal when the Babyface's blaster got nerfed, people were talking about it, and I just didn't think it was as bad a nerf or as bad a weapon as everybody was making it out to be. It just got reworked so you had to use it differently, and all of a sudden, because now it's a different sort of weapon, now it's a bad weapon because people couldn't use it as like an upgrade to the stock scattergun. You know what I mean? Because that's what it was for so many years. It was just a direct upgrade because you could run faster, and good scouts, they would know when to use that double jump, and that double jump was more of an advantage than it was a disadvantage. To lose that boost, because you could use that to completely throw off your enemy who sees you running really fast, and now all of a sudden you're really slow, and that throws them off. So I thought it was a fair nerf that they made it, so you lose boost easier, because now you have to be a more stealthy class, and you're encouraged to dodge more things than you are to just run up and like try to get the meat shots in the face and then leave unscathed. Mode asks, "Am I feeling all right? And what's my opinion on Q&As?" I am feeling all right, and I think they're shit. If you could easily switch to making shorter daily content whilst keeping the same size community, would you? Uh, Probably. I don't see any reason I'd have to switch. If I had to switch, I think I would be in trouble, because the thing with daily content is that it's easy to make. I don't have to record or skim through hours of footage to get specific clips of what I'm talking about, or hire an editor to do it for me like I currently have to do. Um because it's shorter content. Any gameplay would work for that. It wouldn't have to be themed or anything. I could see myself doing that as a bonus, maybe, but not completely switch the whole schedule to do it. El Ladrón de Hentai says, "What do you expect from TF2 in the next 5 years?" I think people will still be playing it. I am expecting at least one or two more updates before the game is officially um sort of taken off of the table. The thing with Valve is that a game never goes off of the table. It never stops receiving updates. A few times in the past, I've gotten an update for Team Fortress Classic, which is going on 20 plus years old. Um, it's mostly usually bug fixes or small balance changes, but nothing at Valve ever gets taken off of the table. It stays on the table. It's just like development will slow down until it's just not heard of for anyone to work on it, but anybody could at any time. They're never going to say pull the plug. It's just not going to happen. What is your opinion on the shortstop, and will you be doing an episode on it? Yes. The shortstop is a mess of a weapon that is, it seems way worse than it is, but the issue that I take with it is that there's a lot of hidden stats about the shortstop that people simply don't know about. There are some upsides that aren't shown on the card, and there are some downsides that aren't shown on the item card. And if more people knew about them, they'd probably use it more, because it's a far more balanced weapon than it looks like. But it's like it's got all these downsides, and the only upside that it supposedly gives you is you can push people, and the push doesn't do any damage. It just kind of pushes them into ideal range. But the issue is that you're a scout. You could just back up and get into ideal range. You should never be in a situation where you have to push somebody. So the shortstop is definitely on the chopping block. What is your opinion on minorities that play TF2, furries, weebs, etc.? Maybe you're a furry or a weeb yourself. I'm not. I'm not a furry or a weeaboo. I'm just a guy. Uh, you know, I'm a very boring guy. I don't have a lot of interests outside of TF2 or Ghostbusters or Back to the Future or Pokemon. I'm not that enthusiastic about things. But I mean, like, I don't see why I'd have a problem with them. They don't really hurt me, so I mean, I don't see any reason why I should hurt them. You know? Would I ever collab with Fishstick on a stick? It would be interesting to see you two do a video together since you have similar concept videos. I would. If he was down, I'd be down. I hadn't contacted him about it. He's much bigger than me, and it's intimidating. Um, and he does way more research than I do. But I don't know if it's just me. I think I do better editing work than he does. But he covers a lot more points than I do. And also, he does a series about bad weapons exclusively. My series is not about bad weapons exclusively, which is a common misconception. People always think that because bad is in the title, it means that it's about bad weapons exclusively, and it's not. It's about anything I want. I'm asking a question. How bad could it be? Uh, is it or is it not? But I'd do a video with him. If he was down, I'd be down. Favorite loadout for each of the mercs. Favorite weapon on each merc. Which how bad could it be episode are you most satisfied with the end product of? Favorite loadout for each of the mercs? That's a long question. Scout is usually like scattergun, Mad Milk or pocket pistol, and then like the Boston Basher. You know, regular medic Uber building thing. Um, Soldier is usually gonna be like black box or stock. One of the banners usually, and like the escape plan. Pyro, I don't touch pyro. It's usually just stock for pyro, and then like maybe a flare gun. Engineer is like a rescue ranger, default wrench, and then a wrangler, just because that's usually what I run by default, and then I'll change it depending on what I need. Um, Heavy is usually gonna be like the minigun or the Tommy Slav, Sandwich, and Fist of Steel. Demo Man is gonna be like either the grenade launcher or loose cannon, the sticky bomb launcher probably, and then like just a random sword depending on how I feel. I don't really do a lot of demo night. Sniper is gonna be like probably usually gonna be a huntsman, Jarate, and bushwhacker just because I can't use a sniper rifle for the life of me. Spy is gonna usually also be stock, and then on occasions I'll use the ambassador because I still stand by the ambassador as being one of the better weapons on Spy. I don't care what people say. And medic is gonna be like the crossbow, the medigun, or the vaccinator, and then like the uber saw or the amputator, depending on how ballsy I'm feeling that day. My favorite weapon on each mark is probably usually gonna be the primary. Just whatever primary I said in that list, that's probably gonna be it because that's the one you use the most. And which how bad could it be episode are you most satisfied with the end product of? Probably the Scottish Resistance versus the direct hit, because that video went from concept to a reality in like a month. That was a real spur of the moment thing where we were writing the Scottish Resistance episode, and then I was doing a lot of research and I forgot that it was even part of the war update. And then I was like, as far as I remember, I think Edwin, I went to him and I was like, I want to do something like with the Scottish Resistance with another YouTuber, like have a war with them, right? And I've had all these ideas, and if I remember correctly, Edwin was like, "Well, what about me? What if we do it?" And then I was like, "That's a pretty good thing," because we had just done the Your Eternal Reward video, and I had already done the rant there, so that kind of plants the seed of like a story arc there. That's not what it was intended to do, but he brought up that it definitely could have done that if I wanted it to do that. So we just took that and we rolled with it. Artwis says, "What will you make after How Bad Could It Be ends? Do you have another series planned?" I do, and it's probably gonna premiere before How Bad Could It Be ends, because that could take another couple years probably. If I keep doing an episode a week, eventually I'm gonna get through all the topics I possibly could, especially since a lot of them end up being bulk episodes. So things like Scout's lunchbox items or Heavy's lunchbox items, they're not gonna be enough information to cover 4 or 5 episodes on each one, so they end up being a bulk episode. Engineer right now has 2 weapons left that I've never talked about, and then I might cover old ones again just to remake them with the current standards. But I do have another series planned, and I can tell you the name is called The Travel Guide. The Travel Guide is going to be a series that's going to start with TF2 and then it's going to expand outward to other games and stuff. The reason why we start with TF2 is because that's where my audience is, and then they'll see the concept and they might like it and they might subscribe to see more of that, right? So right now the travel guide is what's on the block, and I've got a lot of work done on it, but no filming or recording has happened for it yet. What map in TF2 do you enjoy playing most? It's not Two Fort. I do not like Two Fort. Um, I'm trying to think. There's probably Borneo. I like Borneo. I feel very at home on Borneo. What's your favorite video besides TF2? Probably the Borderlands video. If you're talking about what video I've made that isn't TF2, probably Borderlands or Banjo-Kazooie. If you're talking about video game, you probably just forgot the word game. My favorite video game outside of TF2 is probably Half-Life. I really like that game. Or Earthbound. Yeah, probably Earthbound. Earthbound's like on the top of my list of games that I really like. Only game to ever make me cry, by the way. Opinion on the friendly or try hard debate? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Is that a new thing, or are we talking about like the same debate that's been going on since I started playing? Like, should you kill them or should you not kill them? Um, I don't think the game should be taken as seriously as other people take it. Um, if there's a guy that's just being a friendly, there's no reason to rag on him about it. Just play the game. You're probably just going for a kill streak anyway, aren't you? I mean, that's what most people do when they're in casual. They're just going for a kill streak. They're not pushing for objectives really. Like there's enough people there to make for it an objective pushing game, but then there's going to be like that one sniper or soldier that's not really doing things for the objective. They're doing it because they want to get like a 10 or 15 kill streak. Uh Opinion on the random crits debate. If you really, really want a server that doesn't have random crits, start your own or go find one. I think they're just kind of something that people need to learn that it's probably not going to go away anytime soon. And what HUD do you use? I use Z's HUD right now. Ant's HUD in the past. How do you balance your time with making videos in your life? Right now, this is my job, so I don't have to worry about waking up and going to a job and then coming home and doing the video, because this is what I'm doing for work right now. I don't make a lot, but I'm making more than I made at my job, so wrap your head around that. When are you planning to release TF3? I know you have it. Um, Go fuck yourself. Opinions on the multitude of uses for a sand isle. That is a joke that nobody else gets. You realize that, right, Paperboat? That is exclusively a stream chat joke that you just told, and nobody else is gonna understand what the hell you're talking about. What's your standard or inspiration for making videos? My standard is to just do what you can, and there's no reason to add flair onto a section if I've got no idea of what to put there. If I spend 3 days thinking about what I'm gonna put in this section and I've got nothing, Don't put anything there because it's good enough. If I really want, I'll just remake the video later and update my thoughts on it, which I'm planning to do for a couple of older videos. Um, if you're talking about in terms of inspiration, the two biggest creators that I've looked up to in my life are probably James Rolfe, better known as the AVGN, and Jim Henson. Those are my two biggest inspirations, and probably the third is gonna be like Sam Raimi, because all the thing with all three of those is that they they have a standard or like a work ethic that you can't help but admire when it comes to making something. Sam Raimi is on the same end, but he's a director, so he puts his cast and stuff, or at least he used to, on things like Evil Dead. He'll put his crew members and cast members through fucking hell. If he's trying to get a certain reaction or a certain feeling or tone across, he will put them through hell to make sure that that reaction comes across as genuine. And the fact that so many people have gone through that and have come back and worked with him again, so people like Bruce Campbell or his brother Ted Raimi, I mean, I think it's really admiring because the movies that he's behind, so things like the Spider-Man trilogy or Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, there's another movie by him that I forget the name of, but it's it's really cool. I really like seeing people like Sam Raimi and James Rolfe who are willing to suffer or make other people suffer just to get that one shot, because that one shot can make the difference. But then there's people like Jim Henson who was just the nicest person on planet Earth, and you can't convince me there was anyone ever nicer than he was. He wasn't good at taking criticism, but he took criticism. It fucking killed him, but he did take criticism, and he would often come out better because of that. Um, and there was a quote that's attributed to him. The quote is, "Take what you've got and fly with it," which is something that not a lot of people do. Because I get a lot of like, what software do you use for this, or what hardware do you use for this? And what I think people don't understand is that when you're starting something, you don't need to invest a bunch of money into it to make it good. You can take anything you've got and you can make it good with enough work, with enough practice, and with enough backups. Because if you mess up that footage, you don't want to save over it because then you got to redo it. Just take what you've got and fly with it. Have you or do you plan to play in competitive? I don't currently. I did one time and I got my ass handed to me and I never went back. Um, Competitive is one of those things that I'm just not good enough for. I can't get into it. There's a lot you need to know, and it's all just too daunting or intimidating for me. But I do have a video about it that I'm working on, so keep that on the lookout. Do you ever think you'll reach 100,000 subs? Asks Rondov. Yeah, just inevitably with enough time and enough effort, I will. As long as I don't do something to fuck it up, I will. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I don't expect to hit it, because realistically, looking at the numbers and looking at the effort that I put into making sure I grow, it's inevitable. I know that sounds cocky, but I mean, it's like once you've passed a certain point, like once you've passed 5,000, like after that, it just becomes immensely easier to gain those subscribers and to gain that watch time, I would say. At least for me it was, but then again, I've got a series name tied to the channel, which helps a lot, I think. Why can't we undergo mitosis? I don't know. Would you ever think of doing a collab with Pop Top 89? No. Thoughts on Sniper needing a nerf? I personally think it's stupid that people think that, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Uh, I don't think Sniper needs a nerf, because I don't think Sniper is overpowered. Uh, yeah, in the hands of some people he's really powerful, but but that's just like in theory. And you could say a lot about anything in theory. I mean, with perfect aim and enough practice, anything can become overpowered, I think. But it's the fact that Sniper is a class that requires so much sacrifice that I think it's warranted that he's so powerful. When you zoom in with a sniper rifle, you lose the luxury of knowing your surroundings. Um, and on top of that, you have to charge for like 3 to 4 seconds in order to kill anything above a scout or a soldier, right? So, I mean, like, with map knowledge, you can avoid a sniper easily. Or if your team is coordinating correctly, at least a little bit, you could send another sniper, or you could send a spy in to take care of it. I mean, there's so many ways to counter it. It's a team-based game. If you're running directly at the sniper and you're dying over and over again, don't blame the sniper because he's hacking or because he's overpowered. Blame yourself because you keep running directly into his sightlines right at him. What is your favorite organ? The skin. Favorite Pokemon to crush? Dunsparce. I hate Dunsparce. Who are you and why are you in my feed? I don't know, Thomas. Who are you, Thomas? Suck ass Mork says, don't you think random crits are funny? They are, they're pretty fucking funny. Second favorite vegetable, asks Lord Kittenfish. Well, my favorite is celery, but my second favorite is broccoli. I like broccoli. How did you get your name? I wish I had a thing. When I was planning this video and I saw that question, I meant to go to the store and get one so I could show you where I got it. But it's like it's here. We'll use this as an example. This is Neosporin. This is not where I got it, but uh, there's like a tube of M&Ms, right? And it's a tube and it's got a top. And you open the tube and you can just kind of pour M&Ms into your mouth because it's easier than carrying around a little bag. Because if you carry around a little bag, it melts and it gets in your pocket. So they made a tube of smaller M&Ms that don't melt as easily, and it's got a top, and you'd pop it off. And when I was playing Club Penguin, when I was like 10 years old, I needed a name, and the name had to have like 6 or 7 letters, and it needed 6 or 7 characters, and it needed a number, at least 2 numbers. So I looked down and I saw the little top and I went, pop top. And I typed that in and then I typed 89 and then it just stuck. Not really an interesting story, but a story nonetheless. Face reveal? No. Brennan's name asks, no. Yes. Well, that is all of the questions at the time of recording. I don't have any more. I haven't been sent any more, and I don't have any more I think I need to address. But I do have a few things I want to say. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, because I've been doing a lot of streaming of Pokemon games for another series or project that I'm working on. A couple people already know about it, but especially like stream chat. But it's a real fun time, and a lot of you have been helping me get through these games with strategies that I had never thought of. Um, so make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell to get notified of those streams. Whether you can join or actively participate or not is completely up to you, but those streams happen usually every Sunday, Monday, and probably like Wednesday. I'm thinking Tuesday is going to be a day off, but Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, definitely I'm going to be streaming somewhere around 2 p.m. EST. I think that's going to be the new schedule. I'm gonna work on cutting down highlight reel of Pokemon Black, which was the game we did a couple days ago. We finished it. We still got some post game stuff to work through. But after that, sky's the limit. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Next week expect the final video, which is a surprise, but I think it's a fitting surprise. If something comes up, which a lot of things came up this week, which is why we had to take the break off. It was just too much to deal with all at one time and try to get the video out. Um, but we're working on it, and I will see you next time.